episode of the Melissa Killeleagh Show. I am here today with returning guest Leroy Collins, former NFL running back and author of the book, The Running Back. And Leroy has an incredible story of overcoming adversity and creating a legacy, really, and a message that is truly very powerful. And I'm not going to share it because it's his message, but I will tell you, part of it is right here. This is the entrepreneurial journey, which he's going to talk to you about. But the reason why I wanted Leroy to come and chat with us right now is because this week he's actually going to be doing an incredible event on Thursday night, which because of the state of the world we are in right now has gone from being an in-person event to online. So it's available to all of you. You will find the link in the comments to the show. But welcome, Leroy. Thank you for coming back, and tell us, like, how are you handling what's going on in the world today? And how does all of this relate to the work that you do?
Yes. Thank you for having me on your show once again. So it was amazing last time. I know it's going to be amazing this time. So right now we are in some really troublesome times right now, but there's a lot that's good that's about what's going on right now, because at this time it's giving people another avenue of their life to think deeper, to be more creative, to find out who they are. So that's one thing about what's going on right now. And that's kind of what the arrow is. The arrow, what it does, it represents purpose. It's called the purpose arrow, and it represents purpose. So in life, you have goals, you have dreams, you have things that you want to accomplish, but then you run into adversity. You run into oppositions. You run into different things that's going to make you want to stop, going to make you want to quit. But as long as you keep focused and you know where you're going, you see where you're going, you can always go, always make it there, and it's never going to be a straight arrow. So that's kind of what the arrow represents, and it's kind of what we're kind of going through right now. We're going through a little turmoil right now, and a little oppositions and obstacles, but we got to keep going.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, one of the things that I loved about our connection, Leroy, is that this is my life, right? And so for the people who are watching the show and who know me, you know that it definitely hasn't been a straight line from A to B. And, what in life really is when you think about it. When we have a dream, when we are working in our purpose, it is a constant, challenge of detours and challenges and tests, that we're coming back to center from continuously. I think that one of the greatest things that I heard was Brian Tracy's flight plan, when he talks about like a plane is off course like over 90% of the time. And it's the fine tuning that we do that brings us back on course. So it's a very interesting analogy, because I feel like that is life. That is life, right? We're never going to be on that straight and narrow, but it's the detours that make it interesting. It's the detours that give us more purpose, that deepen our capacity, that widen our worldview. And so talk to us a little bit about your story for our viewers who don't know it or haven't read your book. You don't have to give it all away, because I will put the link to purchase it.
Yeah. So basically what is about, it's about perseverance. That's what it comes down to, perseverance. It's about a boy had a dream to accomplish something that he had his back against the wall. And it was like he had to overcome the impossible to create this dream to come alive, this thing to happen. That's basically what the story is about. And it starts off, the story title of the book is The Running Back from the Wheelchair to the NFL. So basically, it starts off with me in a wheelchair and my dream and journeys to get to the NFL. So the story tells about how you're going to have setbacks. You're going to have things that's going to be against you, that's going to seem like it's impossible, but you keep going like I did in my journey. And that's basically the title of the running back. The title is actually, it means running back to your dream. It's not just a football book. It's about you set your goal, you run into some adversities, you want to quit, don't quit, run back to the point where you had your dream, where you were the strongest at that point, where the vision was the most clear at that point, and where you had the most motivation, run back to that point and start again instead of starting over.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of represents what the arrow is, the purpose arrow, because it's never going to be fine. It's never going to be straight, but it's always going to be perfect as long as you keep going.
Yeah. Something you said to me that really struck a chord, really resonated deeply, was about how, you know, we all have dreams, right? And for many of us, we've had them since we were small,
Yeah.
and they often get buried. Like, they get buried underneath fear, they get buried underneath the messages that we get from people outside of us telling us it's not possible, or, you know, or just like the unknowing of, you know, what would this look like. But they also get buried because we are basically told what the expected trajectory of our life looks like in this
Right.
area, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So talk about that a little bit. Like, talk about that dream being born at such an early age and what you ran back to.
Yeah. So every kid, every person had a dream to become something in life. When they grow up, I want to be this, I want to be that. And it was something that was actually given to them, because sometimes, like I said, it's their purpose sometimes to be that. And on that journey, like you said, fear gets struck in because you see it's too big. Like, how can I do that? Or somebody tell you that, they tell you enough that you're not good enough, or you can't do that. And so what happens, we start to settle. We start to settle in whatever lifestyle is, then year after year, year after year. You're stuck in that same situation that you absolutely hate. And but you're just too afraid to leave that comfort zone.
Yeah.
And so you continue thriving in that fear. You actually thrive in fear. You thrive in loneliness. You thrive in unhappiness in that sense. Not thriving is something as great, but you sit into that, I won't say thriving, but you sit into that whatever loneliness, happiness,
The comfort zone.
loneliness, depression, you sit there in it year after year after year because you're comfortable in it, but you hate it.
Mm-hmm.
And saying so, basically what the arrow running back is overcoming the fear and going back to your dream and finding it and finding how to accomplish it, how to get it back, how to get your power back, how to overcome the obstacles. When I had my dream to go to NFL, I was in a wheelchair. I was told I'd never walk again. I was told I can't play football. I got taken off the football team. You know what I mean? I had a learning disability. I had trouble learning stuff. I was embarrassed about not being smart as other kids. It was a lot of things that I had up against me. But I had a focus. My focus was still on the NFL, still to make it there. And it was just something that was burned inside of me. It was nothing that I said, I'm going to prove you wrong. It was something that was actually embedded in me. I had to get there to go to my next chapter in my life.
Yes.
And some of us are stuck at one chapter in my life. It's because we haven't made it to a certain dream in our life. Because sometimes dreams lead you to another dream, to another dream, to another dream. So I had to make it there to make it to another level in my life. You know what I mean? We all have chapters in our life, and that was a chapter I had to make it to get to the next chapter. And some of us are still stuck on page one in our first chapter. And until we reach that dream, we can't go on to do what we was called to do.
Yes, I love it. You know, it's so for me, when you mentioned that about, you know, having the dream since we were small, I thought to myself, like, when I was really little, I had this desire and this dream to really serve people and to be love, right? To show up as love in other people's lives. So I have memories of, you know, stealing money from my grandmother to go like across the street. And, you know, and constantly, you know, worrying about them and taking care of them. And even when my mom, who was 16 when she was pregnant for me and didn't have a lot of money. When she would buy me Christmas presents, I would take and like redistribute them around the neighborhood. Imagine how happy she was about that. But my point is, as time went on, I remember in first or second grade telling someone I wanted to be a philanthropist. And I think my mom actually might have thought I said philanderer because she was like, that is not a good idea.
Yeah.
But, teachers looked at me and they were like, you need to have a lot of resources to do that. And so slowly that dream was kind of, taken away and buried inside. But as time went on, Leroy, I talk about my son a lot as being this moment where I feel like I was actually born again. Right. So at almost 40 years old, here I am feeling like a brand new being on this planet. But the time that I truly came alive was a few years after that. I was living in Seneca Falls, and we had a tragedy strike just down the road from me where we lost a 3-year-old boy to the hands of his parents. And it was such a devastating moment. And I couldn't stop thinking again about the kids across the street, because the complex that this little boy lived in is full of kids, right? Mm-hmm. And we lived this sort of semi-perfect life, the semi-charmed life, right, across the road, and nobody's really interacting. And so from then on, I kept trying to, build relationships over there and connect. And it became about the kids across the street. And this moment happened when you said that about the dream that is within you, because there's something deep there about the kids across the street, and taking care of our people, and knowing that, we need to take care of our communities. We need to take care of other human beings, right? We're responsible for one another, and not in the way that, a lot of people think like, oh, we've got to turn into this socialist society to give everything away. No, but we need to be deeply concerned about the reality of the people around us. And so what I love, Leroy, is the ability to explore that further on Thursday night, because it sounds like your event is going to be that perfect opportunity. Will you talk a little bit more about what you're going to be doing on Thursday?
Yeah. So like you were saying, everybody has a purpose in life. Everybody has a dream in life. We all gonna share that experience in our life, to have a dream and have a purpose. A lot of us won't reach the dream, won't reach a purpose, because of the fact that we don't know how. Some of us don't know how to reach it. Some of us don't even know how to find our dream. So what the Dream Project is actually an opportunity for a person to actually unlock the powers inside them and get the shovel out and bury out that dream that's locked down inside that you have. Becomes like, you watch what people always say, I don't have a dream. I don't dream about anything. It's time to get out the shovel, because you do have a dream. You just got to go dig for it, and you got to know where to look for it. You got to know where to look for it. And it's all about using creativity and thought. You have to start thinking, using our head. A lot of us don't care to think about a dream, because of the fact that it's too far away, or it's buried too far down, or you don't want to unlock it, unbury it, because it's scary. It's a mountain. One experience for me, I wanted to write a book. I was in ninth grade. And so my elementary school and middle school, I was always in special ed classes. Okay. Special ed classes. I had the worst time with stand up in class, reading anything, or having a conversation about stuff that was too much for me. And I heard my two friends that's not in my class, that was in general public classes, they were having a conversation about classwork. And I was listening to a conversation. It was definitely not a conversation I was about to join in. And I was wondering, why don't I know what they know? What's going on here? So I started asking the questions, like, why don't I know what they know? What's going on here? Why is things that kids that's in the same grade as me, the same age as me, is talking about things that I have no clue?
Right.
And I started asking the questions. Then I found out in ninth grade that I was in special ed classes and that I was not learning at the level of other kids. So I had to step outside and do more with myself to actually learn more. So I had to do extra credits, do tutoring. I had to take correspondence courses. I just had to do more, but I always still had that fear of not being smart enough. So I started to write a book. Started writing, then I stopped writing, started writing, stopped writing. It was always something I felt that was just too big for me because I didn't think I had a learning capacity. Even though I graduated high school, graduated college, I got a master's degree. Even though I did all that, it was still, once I get to this level, now I hate reading the book. Now I have to write one. So I had to change my language for one, but then I had to overcome that fear of, you know what, you're smart enough to do this. You actually can do this, and you need to do this because your soul is telling you that you're supposed to do this. Mm-hmm. So, and I listened, and I just had to take certain steps. So what I did, what we're going to teach at the Dream Project, I had to change my language. You know what I mean? This right here is not giving the Dream Project away, but one thing I had to do is, instead of me telling myself that I'm going to write a book, because whenever I did that, whenever I said I was going to write a book, it became too big for me. Yeah. It became huge. So instead of me, I changed my language and changed my approach. And I said, I'm going to dedicate every day to writing something about this book every day. So I'll open the book one day, I write a page, or I write or I write, I write something in a book. I didn't want to dedicate anything to it, but writing something in it. And some days I write 2 pages. Some days I write 3 pages. Some days I write 5 pages. Some days I write 10 pages. I got the book done. And it was the way I've done that, I was able to break it down into manageable sizes that I was able to control, that I took control of this thing. I didn't let it take control of me, like saying I got to sit and write a book. No, I'm going to write something in this book every single day. And it's the same thing with weight loss and fitness. I own a gym. I'm a fitness trainer as well. And I always tell a person that I'm training, okay, you want to lose 50 pounds. So instead of saying you lose 50 pounds, I want you to promise me and dedicate, for the next 90 days, you're going to dedicate fitness to your life every single day. I don't care if it's reading a book. I don't care if it's watching a health video. I don't care if it's eating healthy, if it's working out, whatever it is. Every single day, you're going to dedicate something towards your fitness. Now you got control over it. Now it's manageable and you can do it. And you might lose that 50 pounds now and with confidence, because now it's like, I got to do something. I got to work out every day, or you're going to dedicate fitness to your life and you'll get there. Just have that vision, have that vision of where you want to go, but dedicate that. And it just works with people. You know what I mean? And it worked with me. So I use the same method with other people, and it just seems to change some lives.
Yeah. There's a couple things I want to touch back on. So one thing I think is absolutely spectacular is that same discipline that it took for you to recognize, okay, I'm in special ed classes and I want to know what they know, and I'm going to work harder and I'm going to do more and I'm going to commit myself to this. That same discipline it took there was exactly what sets you up for success for something like the discipline physically that it took going into your role in the NFL, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing because if we start to look back in our lives, we can see where the seeds not only were planted, but where they started to kind of manifest. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is, you touched on some of the things that you need in order to bring a dream to life. And the one thing I'll add to that is you need a guide.
Yeah.
When you are on that excavation, right, that deep archaeological dig, you got your shovel out and you're going in there, it is really helpful to have a guide, and especially one like you with a powerful framework to help people not only unearth what's in there, but maybe if they've already unearthed it, to start putting that dream into some kind of framework or process to begin to bring that vision to life.
Exactly.
And so that's what I'm excited about for Thursday, because it doesn't matter where you are on the spectrum. Maybe you don't know what your dream is. Maybe you have started to get signs and signals. Maybe you look back on the threads of your life and you see something. Maybe you have something already in place, but you just want to take it to that next level.
Exactly.
It's definitely the appropriate place to be. Right?
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. So the always say, the thing that you're looking at, if you look at something differently, the things you look at start to change. You know what I'm saying? If you change the way you look at something, it starts to change. So everything in life, if you change the way you look at it, if it looks too big and then you start looking at it too small, it starts to change. I mean, you look at it too big, it's going to become big. So now you change the way you look at it, it's going to become small. And so if everybody see themselves successful and always see themselves successful, they can be successful or see themselves, you know, or you know, just prospering or whatever the case is. But you got to actually see that, and you got to work towards it. You got to do the work towards it, and that's what Dream Project going to bring you. Going to bring you that. Going to show you what you have, and also going to show you how to work towards it. The work and the thoughts are all needed in this process, and that's what the Dream Project is basically going to do for anybody that attend this thing. We're going to walk away with something. You're going to build something, but not just for you, for everybody else. The world needs whatever you got to build.
I love it. All right. So thank you, Leroy. And for everyone who's watching, I will put a link with an invitation to Thursday night's event. It's such an incredible opportunity to have taken this in-person event online, because now it can reach so many more people. So for everyone who wants to join us, 5:30 to 7:30 online, it'll be on Zoom. Link is in the podcast comments. And also, if you're interested in learning more about Leroy's story, I was so inspired by it, then you'll also see the link to go buy his book and, you know, get to know him a little bit better. I can tell you he's also really accessible online through social media. So once you read that, reach out to him and let him know what it meant to you and how it helped you. And for anyone out there who is listening, who has impact on children's lives, you're involved in schools or just one-on-one with a child, what a great opportunity to be able to bring Leroy into the school or, you know, into a space where he can reach other young people. Because here's the thing, like, how many of us can look back on our own childhood and identify with the things that he talked about having adversity, about having struggles, about feeling like an outsider. And to have that kind of story to connect you and to be able to start to think about these things when you are younger, what an impact you can make. So thank you, Leroy. I appreciate the work you do in the world. I love your passion and purpose.
I thank you very much. I appreciate it, and I will see you soon.